Thank you very much, Thorsten. I would like to thank from my side IDSA and the Open Day project for providing us this opportunity to present TRUSTS in this live session. So as you know by now, TRUSTS stands for Trusted Secure Data Sharing Space. So TRUSTS addresses the ICT Innovation Action Call on supporting the emergence of data markets and the data economy. The project started in January and it has a duration of 3 years. It is coordinated by the Leibniz University of Hanover with its L3S Research Center. And we have a multidisciplinary consortium that you can see in this slide with partners from Germany, Austria, the Netherlands, Belgium, Israel, Greece, Cyprus, Spain, and Romania. So the TRUST partners identified these 3 high-level challenges that impede the growth of the data market economy. As most of you know by now, the data markets are limited mostly to open data. And of course, we cannot have a real business impact when we are working with only open data. We need to work more with proprietary, commercial, and industrial data. And that includes also personal and non-personal data. So to further spur the growth of the data market economy, we have noticed that we lack trusted and secure platforms that involve privacy-aware analytics that will address all these issues that arise, for example, in terms of ethics and all other aspects that we will also be shown in this presentation. At the same time, the data market economy faces many challenges. As you might know, there are many diverging legal and ethical frameworks at European level per country. There are also many standards and technical standards that impede the further development of platforms. So we are aiming to also address these challenges within the TRUSTS project. So as stated by the name of the project, we want to reinvigorate trust in the data market economy, and our methodology to achieve that is that we further focus on developing 2 large national projects, namely Data Market Austria and IDSA, and I will give a bit more information on that later on in my presentation. So the ultimate goal of TRUSTS is to offer this fully operational and GDPR compliant European data marketplace that works with personal and industrial data. So the vision is that the platform will act per se and at the same time as a platform federator that will allow the integration and adoption of future platforms. At the same time, we invest a lot of effort to address and cover all legal and ethical frameworks and items that arise within this wide spectrum of the many data market participants along the data value chain. And this can range, for example, from data owners to consumers, etc. So now a brief information about DMA. So Data Market Austria is a lighthouse project. It invested a lot of effort and it advanced many technological elements, for example, it enabled cloud interoperability, and in this regard also it set the foundations for a secure data marketplace. Moreover, with the involvement of many SMEs, companies, and other major innovation stakeholders at Austrian level, it really fostered the creation of a data-driven innovation ecosystem in Austria. For example, here you can see the many roles that coexist within this framework of a data market. So in our TRUST consortium, we have 3 partners that also participated in DMA. Namely, we have Research Studio Austria that coordinated DMA, and we also have No Center and Semantic Web Company. So if you want more information, I encourage you to visit the website of the project. And of course, we have in our consortium also IDSA. So when I hear IDSA, in my mind, what comes is data sovereignty. So we all know by now that the peer-to-peer global dynamic network that enables equal opportunities via federated design. Of course, IDSA complies with the European values of data, privacy, and security. And as such, it lays the block for a sustainable data market economy. So moving back now to TRUSTS. So as you know by now, what our goal is to have this fully operational and GDPR compliant European data marketplace that will process and derive key business insights by personal and industrial data. So our goal is to further build on these technological solutions and to enrich them with new functionalities and services. We also have a very business approach because we want to test this technology in a real business setting. So in Trusts, we focus more on the financial and telecommunication operator industries. So we are having specific use cases, which I will present later on. And we really develop a specific legal, a business model framework that pertains to these use cases because we really want to ensure sustainability and uptake of the project output. So now when it comes to key innovations, I would say we have these two high-level key innovations that will come out of the project. We really need to have this robust legal and ethical framework. This will ensure that our technical solutions are compliant with all regulations, and compliance means also sustainability. So this is a key goal that we have in our project. At the same time, business uptake is very important. So in that regard, we focus a lot of our efforts in coming up with viable, feasible, and self-sustainable business models for all actors that participate in the data market. So we really want to further enable the flourishing of the data-driven innovation environment in Europe. So now going a bit more in more detail about our innovation output of the project and goals. So Trusts really wants to set up this end-to-end data marketplace that is scalable, concurrent, and cross-domain, and of course secure. That is very important. And to do that, we are working very closely with our stakeholders, and namely our end users. So we invest a lot of effort to derive and elicit their requirements, because of course the architectural design has to really reflect what the end users will really need for a technical solution to be successful commercially and also to be viable. So you can see here, for example, an indicative timeline as per the functional specifications that we have in our design and our KPIs and methodologies. So we also have the Truss Platform. So in that regard, we are further developing components from DMA and IDSA, and we integrate them in the Truss Platform. So we have this timeline as per the infrastructure setup, and then our smart contracts, interoperability solutions, and we have 3 deployments of the platform. So please make sure to stay tuned, because it will be sharing there and more information about our progress, our achievements, in line with our scheduled platform releases. Privacy is very important because privacy ensures trust, and trust is a key component when it comes to business. So in that regard, we really allocate a lot of effort, and we conduct highly innovative research in coming up with cryptographically secure protocols that really enable the analysis of privacy sensitive data. So you can see, for example, here that we have our time plan for our novel algorithms. For example, we have deep learning algorithms and other compute-intense neural network solutions that have to be integrated in the fully operational Truss platform. Another key output, of course, is the business liaison. So we really want to make sure that these technical solutions will be tested and validated in the market. So we have this time plan here as per our use cases and their evaluation. Of course, legal and ethics frameworks are very important. So in that regard, we're going beyond just providing guidelines and beyond doing just a legal and ethical assessment. We really want to support, in general, data economy in Europe. So we will be also offering legal and policy recommendations as per the challenges we faced in the project and the lessons learned. Business is very important, so I think my personal opinion that technology should be marketable, research should be marketable. So here in Truss, we really allocate a lot of effort to really analyze all items that pertain, for example, to commercialization, IPR management. This can be, of course, very challenging, but in the end, it is rewarding because we want self-sustainable and viable business models for all data market participants. So in this regard, we have our plan. You can see here our timeline, and we will also have a rich community engagement plan and activities coming up in the next months, because we really want to work very closely with our stakeholders, exchange lessons learned, and further ensure the uptake of the project's outputs. So that being said, Trusts is a mixed data platform. So that means that we work at the same time with personal and industrial non-personal data. So in that regard, we have to really achieve a balance between many frameworks, standards, and also interests. So in the data economy, there are many stakeholders. Each one has their rights, their legal rights, their privacy rights, but they also have their own business model. So we're trying to find really to achieve this good balance that will make the data market as a whole commercially viable and sustainable. And we want to do that beyond also the duration of the TRUSTS project. So in that regard, we are also have identified, for example, the regulatory frameworks that have to be addressed, and we are aware of the variations of regimes of ownership, for example, who owns the data, to what extent, etc. So these are key aspects that we are planning to address the TRUST project, and we will be sharing more information on that later on. So now I will share a bit more details about our use cases, which are business oriented. So that means the goal of the use cases is to really test the technology to the market, and we want to see how we can develop marketing solutions based on big data analytics that can be self-sustainable and viable. So our first use case focuses more on the detection of financial crime and more specifically money laundering. So in this case, we're working with big data analytics that are further integrated in the Truss platform, and we have already our tools from our partners that we further develop in this regard. So more specifically, we want to work here in this case with enriched data, and our indicative, for example, stakeholders can be, in this case, anybody who has interest in identifying money laundering and detect financial crime. And this can be financial institutions, tax advisors, or many other stakeholders. This is just an indicative list of stakeholders that are interested in that slide. So we're working in this case with open source closed loop data. Of course, it has to be also validated and anonymized or pseudonymized data. The Truss platform offers a solution to further enrich that data with data analytics, and also to ensure that there is the secure sharing and brokerage as well as training of this data to ensure this anti-money laundering compliance. The business impact in this case is to better evaluate the risk assessment that comes when it comes to financial data. And this way, we want to automate the better decision making, better detection accuracy, and this, of course, leads to higher efficiency, competitiveness, and lowers compliance costs. Our second use case focuses more on the marketing activities at a local level. So again, we're working with big data analytics, and we want to really see how they can be integrated in the platform and how they can provide timely and meaningful business insights targeting customers. So again, we're working here with GDPR anonymized financial banking and telecom data. For example, they can be derived from the CRM databases of our partners. And the Truss platform offers their anonymization, protection from de-anonymization attacks, synchronization, valuation, correlation, and big data analytics. So again, the business impact here is how we can apply in practice. So marketing, customized marketing activities, and develop a marketing strategy. And this, of course, leads to greater business profits and reduced costs. Of course, we are always GDPR compliant when it comes to our marketing activities. Our third and last use case, so in this here, we're working again with big financial data, but now we have the element of human-computer interaction. And that means, for example, robo-advisors, chatbots that serve as automated assistants, but they focus more on the wealth management element and more specifically on the debt management. And we want to see how an automated, personalized experience can be offered by the integration of big data. So we are working here with customer data that are anonymized, and we're using our cryptographic protocols. And the Truss platform here offers, again, data masking, synchronization, protection from de-anonymization attacks. And we also want to work with chatbots and semantic components. So the business impact will be how we can develop, in this use case, scalable and tailor-made wealth management services that, for example, work in the debt collection environment, how we can have big data visualization, and how we can integrate all these very innovative and exciting technologies such as big data, AI, human-computer interaction, and natural language processing within this real business case. So here you can see an indicative draft of our architecture. We will be sharing more information later on that. So we have identified two elements that can impede the growth of economy. So we can say that from one standpoint, we have a technological angle, and what we really need in this case is to have a really secure platform that is proven technologically to be secure, and that is vital to ensure that all business stakeholders have the confidence and the security to really interact and be more active in the data markets. At the same time, we have all the business constraints, and I would say, for example, under business, we can consider the commercial, operational, legal, and other standards that diverge, for example, per country or per continent. So in that regard, there have to be many different innovative business models that cover the needs and also offer opportunities for growth. And that will really be the incentive for the growth economy and the data-driven economy. So when it comes to business impact, I would really like to highlight that fairness and transparency is very important. So in that regard, we really need to have realistic business models that can also be at the same time customizable and self-sustainable to allow for diversification of many stakeholders and participants in the data market. So in our case, we're trying to prove that via our use cases and by using our platform. At the same time, in business, what we really need is to make knowledge-based decisions. So we want to really avoid intuition-based decisions. So our goal is to prove how the Truss platform can be used for reliable, automatic decision-making, how predictive models and robo-advisors can really enhance performance. At the same time, make sure that business decisions can be made at a faster pace and they're much more correct. So back to our platform, what we are aiming is that Truss platform can stand per se and also as a platform federator. And for that, to have it as a platform federator, there have to be hierarchical levels of privacy and of course various layers of certification. And this will enable as well, being a federator will enable the flexible combination of data and services, and that is of utmost importance if we want to further spur the growth of the data economy, because this will enable all business actors to come up with new products, data products, and new services. At the same time, we want to offer this automatic brokerage system while also enabling human brokers to create customized offers and customized data products. So all in all, we can say that we want to lower the barrier to entry for all data-driven entrepreneurs, SMEs, NGOs, enterprises, and all stakeholders that want to partake in the data market economy. So here we have three high-level privacy challenges that affect all people that are active in that domain. And you can see on now on the right side are solutions for that. So for example, we are investing a lot of effort in our multi-party computation protocols that offer zero knowledge encryption. And we do that in order to ensure that we really have privacy-aware analytics that enable the secure sharing of personal and industrial data. At the same time, we're working a lot with cryptographic low multiplicative complexity primitives, and we also with multi-party computation protocols, because we really want the trust solution to be scalable and to enable this level of confidentiality and trust when it comes to working with commercial data. Moreover, we have this multi-stakeholder perspective because we're trying to address and cover the needs of all data market participants. And in this regard, we are really analyzing all the threats they might face or the challenges they might have when entering the data marketplace. So we want to really find solutions for that as well. Now, when it comes to data per se, I have here three kinds of challenges that we can face. At a data level within the Trust projects, for example, we want the Trust platform to be interoperable, and in that regard, we have to really overcome the challenges that come with IT standardization. Of course, when technologies converge, we have the systems, and there are some gaps there that we really need to cover to ensure this interoperability. At the same time, when it comes to multi-party computation in Trust, we really want to showcase its practical implementation as well as its association. Moreover, to enable more this active ecosystem of data-driven entrepreneurship, we need to be able to quickly set up digital support and solutions to address all technical challenges. So in this regard, in Trusts, we are also working with semantics and we want to enable this cross-domain setup, findability of data sources, entity linking, and of course, I cannot highlight enough the importance of having good data quality to ensure the uptake of the market. Moreover, commercial confidentiality is very important in this regard. Now, as per the legal aspects, of course, there are many issues that arise when it comes to data ownership and how data can be treated as a commodity. So we are also trying to address that in the project, and we have identified this item. Moreover, we want to protect all data market participants, for example, the consumers, because they should not suffer any detriment and their rights have to be protected. Moreover, when it comes, for example, to automated decision making, for example, you know, emotion detection and other techniques, this raises many ethics issues on privacy, for example. When it comes to smart contracts, we still have to explore more legal items in terms of validity, enforceability, interpretation. And of course, in the trust projects, we fully comply with GDPR and all relevant directives, for example, e-privacy, etc., when it comes to all the technologies that we use within the context of the project. Now, in terms of business and data, I would say that globally and in Europe, there are many challenges and trends when it comes to data sharing, also data ownership. And in Trust, we really want to ensure that we have a secure platform that is really vitally needed to ensure the successful and trustworthy interaction within the marketplace. At the same time, having advanced marketing techniques that rely on big data, this somehow raises issues, for example, as per the Unfair Commercial Practices Directive. So we are working on that. And of course, there are always the IPR issues and the data stewardship issues. So our goal is to really ensure the establishment of this environment of trust and accountability and transparency, that we really have also a degree of predictability, so that all data market participants, ranging from businesses to investors, citizens, etc., they feel that their legal rights are safeguarded and they can really participate responsibly in this data market. So that being said, I really highly encourage you to follow us on LinkedIn and Twitter to stay updated as per our news. If you have any questions after the session, please feel free to contact me directly. Here is my email, LinkedIn and Twitter account. I'm looking forward to your feedback and to collaborating with you more. So that being said, I would like to give the floor back to Torsten.